Another midweek set of fixtures is here in the Championship. We got one score correct, Millwall beating Watford 1-0. Millwall are on the up, Watford really struggling at the moment, so I'm kind of glad I went for that prediction. I'm not glad it happened because it just puts Blues in an even worse position, but what can you do? A lot of sides around us are picking up points and we're not getting the wins, but a couple of tough fixtures against Ipswich and Southampton. Hull next, which again is tough, but the fixtures will start to get easier. We've got a tough run, but I think we will be fine. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the predictions. We start with Blackburn against Millwall, both sides only 1 point above the relegation zone on 39 points. Hopefully this ends in a draw, but it's going to be a tight game because Blackburn haven't yet won under Eustace. 5 attempts, 2 losses and 3 draws. Their last game was a loss against Swansea. Millwall, 2 wins in a row against Southampton and Watford. They're looking the better out of the two, but Blackburn, they're one of those where they're just tough to beat, even though they've lost twice. That I've got a feeling they're going to be hard to break down. They're not going to get too many wins from now to the end of the season, but it could be a tight game, and that's why I'm going to go for what I want, which is a 1-1 draw. Coventry face Rotherham next. This one looks pretty straightforward. Coventry have lost 2 in a row against Preston and West Brom. They're falling out of place when it comes to the playoffs. They need to win this. I don't think they'll have too many problems. Rotherham, 7 losses in a row, only 3 wins all season. Coventry surely win this. I don't see them scoring too many as they are in a bit of a rough patch though, so I'll go 1-0. Hull up against Birmingham City next. Now Hull, not bad form from them at all. 5 unbeaten in a row, 3 wins and most recently 2 draws. Those draws were good points to get against Preston and West Brom. I think Hull are going to get playoffs. I think it's between them and Norwich, to be honest. I feel bad ruling out Preston. I feel like I always do, but just looking through their squad, I don't see how those Preston players can get them into the playoffs in such a tough Championship season. A bit unfair, but I think it's Hull or Norwich. I'm hoping Blues can get something here, but again, away from home, we're very poor. We've lost 2 in a row against Ipswich and Southampton. The Southampton game, I think we were unlucky to lose. Sending off was... I'm not sure about it. The more I've seen people mention how high his foot was and maybe the intent and that it could have broken his leg if he was, a few inches to the side, you kind of think, okay, fair enough. But for me, I'm not sure it's a red. I think it's harsh. It's on the borderline yellow-red, so we'll just have to take that one on the chin, unfortunately. We did get better, it seemed, as Sanderson went off the pitch and we only had 10 men. Bakuna getting an equaliser, but unfortunately, we couldn't get the job done in the end. A lot of minutes added on. Not sure there were 9 there. It just feels a bit difficult. Their goal came from a corner that wasn't a corner as well, so it was harsh, but again, it was a game we weren't expecting to win or get anything out of, and I think we performed well. I'm happy with our front 6, but our defence is awful. Our centre-backs are crap. We need some centre-backs in the summer, but we're going to have to make do with what we've got from now to the end of the season. Unfortunately, we got rid of Kevin Long, who was probably the one centre-back who doesn't really put a foot wrong. He's not going to pull up too many trees, but he does his job. And that's more than what you can say for any of the other guys. Going off a bit, but this game, it's going to be a tough one for Blues. I'm just going to be optimistic. And I think the best we can do here with our poor away form is get a point. So I'll go 1-1. Leeds take on Stoke next. Leeds faltered a little bit at the weekend. 9 wins in a row, and then that run taken down by a Huddersfield side, which I really didn't expect. A 1-1 draw away, not great from Leeds. They really could have done with winning that to do Blues a bit of a favour, but I'm sure they'll get back on track here. They're at home, they're brilliant at home, still haven't lost. Stoke, they've just picked up their second win in 8, but they've lost the other 6. I've got a feeling Leeds will get some goals here, so I'll go Leeds to win 3-0. Sheffield Wednesday face Plymouth. Now Sheffield Wednesday won 3 in a row, won 4 out of 5. They're only 3 points from safety. They do have very poor goal difference compared to most though, so that's really going to make them suffer, because I think this season relegation could come down to something like goal difference. It's so tight with, about 8-9 spaces covered by 3 or 4 points, so it's going to be tough for them to stay up, but they're probably the most informed side down here at the moment with 4 wins out of 5, so they're looking good. Plymouth, only 1 win in their last 6, losing 4. The win came away, which is a bit of a shock, but they're not great away, so I've got a feeling Sheffield Wednesday get the job done with a 2-1 win. Two sides in poor form now, even though they're both in the top half of the table, the other sitting top. Sunderland against Leicester. Now Sunderland, they were looking like they could get playoffs, but 4 losses in a row, an injury to Jack Clark, they're now 9 points off the playoffs, and it's looking like they're going to kind of stumble down the table, probably finish mid-table, maybe even bottom half, because it's very tight below them. Leicester, 3 losses in a row in the league, very surprising as they've been so dominant this season. They're now only 3 points above second placed Ipswich and 5 above brilliantly informed Leeds. Could Leicester not get automatic promotion? If they don't book their ideas up here, there's a strong chance that they might not. They've still got some tough fixtures against the likes of Southampton, so it's going to be a tight end to the season. I think Leicester win here though, because Sunderland are in a really poor spot. So I'm going to go Leicester to get all 3 points with a 2-1 win. Ipswich against Bristol City is our last game of Tuesday's fixtures. Ipswich, great form. After only 1 win in 9, they've now picked up 5 wins in a row, only 3 points off Leicester with quite considerably less goal difference, but Ipswich are flying and they're looking like they could get automatic promotion. They're definitely in the best spot, other than obviously Leicester. If Ipswich maximise their points from now on, they will be automatically promoted, so everything's in their hands. They've picked up form at the right time. It's going to make for an interesting finish. Bristol City, 3 losses in a row, looking like they're going to finish mid-table. Not really anything to play for at the moment, although I have seen some Bristol City fans worried about possible relegation. Maybe they are close enough to that. I think they're only 6 points above it on 44, but I think they'll be okay. Ipswich to win 2-0. Cardiff face Huddersfield. Cardiff not really anything to play for now on 47 points. I know there's plenty of points up for grabs, but it's going to take some run for them to get playoffs, and I don't think they're going to do that poorly that they'll get relegated. So for me, mid-table for Cardiff, 2 wins in a row, they're looking decent, and I'm hoping they can perform here, because Huddersfield have only lost 2 games of their last 9, so very good form, picking up points in most matches, quite a few wins in there. Not great for Blues, but yeah, they are in some sort of form. So Huddersfield really need to drop points here. I know I'm being very biased, but I'll go for a 1-1 draw. Middlesbrough face Norwich next. Now Middlesbrough, it's not going well for them at the moment. Not many good results. They've lost 4 of their last 5. The game in between that was somehow an away win against Leicester, but since then they've lost some pretty impossible fixtures to lose, it would seem. They've managed to lose at home against Plymouth, who never win away, and they've lost away against Stoke, who just never really win, but they don't win at home, so not great from Middlesbrough. They are on the brink of a relegation battle. If their poor form continues, they could drop into it. I think it's another loss here because Norwich are very good. Norwich unbeaten in 6, 4 wins and 2 draws. They're sitting just outside the playoffs, just behind Hull, but I think they've got a chance of getting in. Norwich to win this one, 2-1. Southampton against Preston is an interesting clash. Southampton, their last 5 games, they've lost 3, won 2. The 2 wins have been away against Blues and West Brom, so they must really love coming to the West Midlands at the moment. It's the only way they're really picking up points, but I think they get back to winning outside of the West Midlands here. Preston are unbeaten in 7, 4 wins, 3 draws. They're on another brilliant run like they were at the start of the season. But I think aside with the quality of Southampton, if Southampton are on their game, they will unpick this Preston side. So I'm going to go Southampton to narrowly win 2-1. Watford are up against Swansea next, and Watford, they look like they could have fought for the playoffs. They're in a very good run of form, but with only 1 win in their last 6 games, and that was against Rotherham, they've lost the other 5. They're only 6 points above the relegation zone. They're really looking like they could be in trouble. Will Valerian Ismail be sacked before they fall into trouble? I'm not sure. I mean, you look at them and you think they probably only need another 3 wins to be okay, but it's tight down there and it's looking like it could even be over 50 points to survive with the way some of the sides down here are playing. So it's going to be tight. Swansea, they're in decent form now. They've won their last 2 against Sunderland and Blackburn. They had lost a few, but they were playing all of the top sides. They also lost to Plymouth, but I think Swansea are out of that patch now. They've got some easier fixtures, and I fancy them to win this and go above Watford in the table with a 1-0 win. Our last fixture for Wednesday sees QPR face West Brom. Now QPR, they're in good form. They're out of the relegation zone. They're one of 4 teams on 38 points. They've won 3 in a row against Bristol City, Rotherham, and most recently they beat Leicester away. It's really happening for QPR at the moment, and I think they could make this game very difficult for West Brom, who have been in good form themselves. They've put a bit of a margin between themselves and 7th. It's now a 4-point gap to Norwich. They've got some important results recently. They got a win against Coventry on the weekend. They drew with Hull before that. So 2 sides that are in and around the playoffs, they've managed to not lose points in the race too. So good form from West Brom. I think they could drop some points here though. They're away. They don't win too many away. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. So those are my predictions for these championship fixtures. Get your predictions down below or pick out just a few games and give me your thoughts. Make sure to like and subscribe, and up the Blues.